Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a hyena. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the front part of the body. To draw the circle, first make two small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make two more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video to draw at your own pace. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having trouble drawing it, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. To the right, draw another circle as a guide for the back portion of the body. Place this circle slightly lower. This circle should be about 2/3 the size of the first circle. Don't place the circles too far apart or the body will be too long. On the top left side, draw another circle as a guide for the head. Place this circle slightly higher than the first circle. Make this circle about 1/4 the size of the first circle. Hyenas have long necks, so don't place the head circle too close to the body circle. On the left side of the head, draw two sloping lines as guides for the muzzle. Pay attention to the length and placement of these lines in relation to the head circle. Close off the shape of the muzzle on the left side using a short line. Draw a long sloping line across the entire head. This is a construction guide that will help you place the facial features later on. On top of the head, draw a short vertical line for the first part of the ear. Add a curved line to the right to finish the guide for the ear. Under the first circle, draw a long vertical line as a guide for the front leg. Bend the line slightly near the bottom to indicate a joint. At the very bottom, bend the line to the left as a guide for the foot. To the left, draw a similar line as a guide for the other front leg. Bend the line a couple of times near the bottom to indicate the joint and foot. Under the circle on the right, draw a long angled line as a guide for the hind leg. Bend the line a couple of times near the middle to indicate joints. At the bottom, bend the line to the left for the foot. Draw a similar line to the left as a guide for the other hind leg. The top of this leg will be hidden behind the body. Connect the head to the body using long sloping lines to create the guide for the neck. The shape of the neck should be wide. Connect the body circles using two more sloping lines to finish the guide for the torso. On the right side, draw a line that curves downward as a guide for the tail. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch a small circle for the eye. Place the eye on top of the horizontal construction guide and close to the top edge of the muzzle. When you get the size and position of the eye right, darken the shape. Make the top and bottom of the eye flatter than the circle. The shape of the eye should be similar to a greater than sign. Add a few short strokes at the top for fur. Draw a curved line under the eye for a crease. Inside the eye, draw a tiny dot for the pupil. Near the tip of the muzzle, lightly sketch a small circle for the nose. Place the nose on top of the construction guide. When you get the size and position of the nose right, darken the shape. Follow the basic path of the guide as you darken the tip of the nose. The bottom of the nose should be thin and pointy. Inside the nose, draw a curved line for the nostril. On the left side of this line, draw a small circle and shade it in for the nostril's opening. Draw a few short strokes at the top for the furry top of the nose. Under the nose, draw a line that curves to the right for the mouth. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the line when you get the shape right. Extend the line to the right so that it's inside the head. The line for the mouth should be close to the bottom of the guide. Make the line for the mouth thick and dark. Under the mouth, draw another line that curves to the right for the lower jaw. Draw this line along the basic path of the guide. Darken the line above the nose for the top of the muzzle. Use the shape on top of the head as a guide to draw the ear. On the right side, draw a series of short strokes for the fur on the edge of the ear. Draw a curved line and a few short strokes within the shape for the ear's opening. Use the initial circle as a guide to draw the head. Make the top of the head flatter than the initial circle. At the top, draw a series of short strokes for the mane on the head. Curve the line above the muzzle to create the brow. At the bottom, extend the line to the right to create the throat. Draw a few short strokes below the ear to emphasize the jaw. Draw a couple of short lines to the left of the eye for the inner corner of the eye. The inner corner of the eye should point to the left. Add a few more lines within the head to emphasize the structure. On top of the head, draw a small arc for the ear that's on the other side. Use a few short strokes for fur. Use the second line from the left that's under the body as a guide to draw the front leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the top of the leg wide and then gradually make it thinner toward the bottom. At the bottom, curve the shape to the left to create the foot. The front of the foot should be curved. When you get the shape right, darken the lines. Use a few short strokes at the top to create a furry texture. The top of the leg should be inside the body. On the tip of the foot, draw a few short curved lines to separate the toes. On the tip of each toe, draw a tiny triangular shape for the claws. Use the line on the left as a guide to draw the other front leg the same way. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. The right edge of this leg will be hidden behind the first front leg. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. At the bottom, draw the toes using a couple of short curved lines. On the tips of the toes, draw small triangular shapes for the claws. Use the angled line on the far right side as a guide to draw the hind leg. Just like with the front legs, first lightly sketch the shape of the hind leg around the guideline. The top of the leg should be wide and the bottom thin. Follow the basic path of the guide as you draw the leg. Bend the bottom of the shape to the left to create the foot. When you get the shape of the hind leg right, darken the lines. Use a series of short strokes to create a furry texture. Draw a few short curved lines on the tip of the foot to separate the toes. Add a small triangular shape on the tip of each toe for the claws. Use the line on the left as a guide to draw the other hind leg the same way. Lightly sketch the leg around the guide and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. A big part of this leg will be hidden behind the first hind leg. Use the remaining shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the body. Draw a series of short strokes along the top of the neck for the mane. Follow the path of the guide as you draw these strokes. The longer you make the strokes, the longer the mane will be. Don't draw these strokes too far from the guide. Darken the outer edges of the rest of the guides to create the shape of the body. Use a few short strokes as you darken these lines for a furry texture. Draw the shape of the tail around the guide on the right side of the body. Draw a series of short strokes around the guide to create the tail. Now erase the initial guidelines. The next few steps are sped up so that the video isn't too long. Don't worry about erasing all of the guidelines, it's okay if you leave some behind. Redraw any of the final lines that you may have accidentally erased. Now shade your drawing. Use a medium value across the entire body. Shade lightly at first and gradually build up to darker values. For light values, push down very lightly on your pencil, then push down harder for darker values. Use the dark value to shade the inside of the ear, the nose, and the muzzle. Leave a thin strip blank on the nose for a highlight. As you shade, use strokes that go in the direction of the fur. Use horizontal strokes on the body and vertical strokes on the legs. Don't shade too smoothly. A rough value will create more texture on the fur. As you shade, separate each stroke a bit so that the white of the paper comes through and creates a furrier texture. Use a darker value throughout the body to create some shadows. Pick a light source as you shade so that the shadows are consistent throughout the body. Here the light source is coming from the top, so most of the shadows will be on the underside of the shapes. Draw small spots across the body using a dark value. Don't add too many spots on the head or farther down on the legs. Draw a cast shadow at the bottom using a medium value. Shading can be time consuming, so be patient and take breaks. Keep shading until you're happy with the result. And that's it for the hyena. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com where every step of this tutorial is broken down into an individual image. That's how, and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying my books on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.